Hey guys, what is up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla stock, let's go over the market, let's talk about what is happening and what we can expect moving forward. So ladies and gentlemen, as per usual, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And of course, if you do enjoy my technical analysis, my thoughts on the charts, etc., well, again, I do share these thoughts every single day the market is open. Down below, there is a description to it. Is the first link. It should say like the Tesla guy or something like that. You click that, you join the membership section if you wish. For just $3 a month, you get access to all my thoughts, post updates. Every day the market is live, open, trading, etc. Constantly posting updates, mainly on Tesla stocks, sometimes other stocks, or for $5 a month, you get access to the first tier and also the second tier, of course, which offers the NVIDIA daily updates as well. But jumping into it, Tesla closing the day down about 3.6%, closing just above $378 per share. As this is, I believe, what price is this one closed at? This one closed at $379. So actually the second time now, the second time we have closed in the 37x region, if you will, ever since this candle back here. And honestly, you can make an argument that this candle closure that we had today, has a similar vibe as this red candle that we had back here, followed by a pretty nice pump the next day. Now, I'm not saying we'll get this kind of pump, but what I am saying is going to be this, right? So, all right, there's a lot I want to say, but let's just kind of start a little bit more zoomed back, right? So first and foremost, on the daily chart, I did slightly adjust the pattern, right? Obviously, the pattern I had before was something like this, right? It was something like this. I think it was something like this, give or take, like something like that. I think it was, right? More or less, right? I did adjust that. I adjusted it to this instead, which is essentially more or less closer to a rise or a descending triangle, which technically speaking is a bearish pattern. But again, with these kind of patterns, you always want to wait for true confirmation because ultimately it can go either direction. So what are the confirmations that you want to wait for? Well, for the bullish perspective, you want to, at the very least, you want to see Tesla get back above, I would say 405 at least. But if you want like true bullish confirmation, first and foremost, at least as it stands right now, we want to break above the recent high that we set, which is going to be close to about $420 per share, which is a bit of a ways from here, obviously, right? A bit of a ways from here. But, I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla has a short-term bottom here. And I'll explain why, right? But that's me the bullish perspective, right? But I think that level 2 break will change pretty soon, assuming this is a short-term bottom, and I'll explain why very soon. The bearish perspective, of course, is going to be essentially a break below about 374, which is going to be that low that we set just a couple of days ago, and essentially breaking below that low, even just going below that low, but especially closing below that low, if we don't recover like pretty much literally the next day, would substantially increase the possibility of us dropping lower and back down into this kind of demand zone, if you will, all the way down here again, like I said, around the 350s. I've mentioned 350s many times for a long time, and I've been talking about, a lot of bulls have been talking about how Tesla's going to rocket, and I've been saying this for like, I don't know, probably 2 weeks now. Honestly, I've been talking about this for 2 weeks, how a lot of bulls think Tesla's just going to rocket, we're going to go up and up and up and up and up. And I was saying how, yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see us happening at, going to like well into the 500s, and, best case scenario is about 440 to 460, right? That's what I've been saying for a long time, and I still stand by that. Unfortunately, nothing has changed just yet. So now let's go zoom in a little bit here on the daily chart, right? Now, why did I say that, the level, how initially right now the level to break is technically, for like, actual more confident, bullish, breakout, if you will, 420, which is this pivot point up here, right? Why did I say that might change? Well, the reason I said that might change is because of this, right? So as we're still within this kind of, descending triangle type, maybe you could argue it's a bit of a pennant, whatever you want to call it, right? While we're still within this, there is more room for us to still kind of go sideways in, right? And this can potentially still go sideways for like, well into mid-February, technically speaking. Like we could just get a small bounce here and then come back down. And, we could still like, there's room to still continue going sideways while within this little, apex, if you will, of this pattern. So that's number one. But number two, the reason I said that we potentially could, set up a new level to then break is if we do set up a little bit of a short-term bottom. And let's say we do get a bounce, which, I think it's pretty likely. We're at the bottom Bollinger Band, etc., right? RSI's, flirting with oversold territories. It wouldn't be unheard of to get at the very least a small bounce from here back up to, maybe closer to 400 or like 390s, something like that, right? Is like this, right? So let's say we do get a bounce. Let's say we make our way back up to this general level right here. The mean reversion for the daily Bollinger Band will pretty much meet us right there, and that'll be, again, we'll say mid to high 390s, something like that. And let's say the candle looks something like this. Well, it doesn't let me draw for some reason. It makes me like, I don't know. Let's just as an example say the candle looks something like this. obviously it's a very big candle, but just for demonstrational purposes, right? Let's just say it looks something like that, right? And then we reject, and let's say we continue, and we continue essentially, going sideways within the apex of this pattern, right? And then we move up here, we set up this candle, then we come back down, we continue, and let's say now, fast forward like a week and a half or something like that. I'm making my video now on February 18th or whatever it is, right? And this is where we are right now. Then you'll have to understand that the new level 2 break for the bulls to really get confidence is not going to be up here for 20 anymore. It'll be this high of this candle that we set up here, which, let's say it'll be closer to 400 or something like that, right? That'll be the new pivot level essentially to snap for the bulls to get momentum, right? And to really kind of swing this finally in a direction more meaningfully. So that's a bit of a demonstration of, how things can potentially play out moving forward, right? But ultimately what it really comes down to is, in order to even get this bounces, Tesla ideally does not want to lose, about this 374-ish range. Now, obviously there is a chance that we temporarily lose it. There is a chance that we get a sweep, right? Because sometimes what the market makers like to do, and the market likes to mess with people, of course, especially in a stock like Tesla, it'll drop it. It'll snag down below it. It'll kind of grab liquidity down here, and then it'll snap back up. That's why it's not so easy as just like, oh, lost 374, it's all over. All it does is increase the possibilities of that move down below, especially if we can't close back above it, especially if we can't do that several days in a row, right? So, you want to take all these things with a grain of salt, which is why, for most people, day trading, in all honesty, and playing off these very minuscule, like small decimal type closure moves, in my opinion, of course, not financial advice if I haven't said that, is not the best way to play for most people. You want to play for slightly more zoomed out situations and, slightly zoomed out swings, if you will, because you avoid this little mini chop, right? You avoid these little mini chops, right? Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that, so just, watch for potential liquidity sweep rather, but, regardless, going below 374 is concerning, to say the least. It is concerning. It's not ideal. It would make things a little bit more complicated. But nonetheless, we are still at the bottom of the Bollinger Band. I do like that, right? I like when stocks are at the bottom Bollinger Band like this. Especially like big stocks, it gives me more confidence that we're closer to a bottom than not. But you have to understand the Bollinger Bands are getting a little bit tighter here. So, it is signaling the fact that, we're squeezing a little bit here for a potential larger move. Doesn't mean it has to happen now. Again, we could still go sideways and, get a little bit tighter on the Bollinger Bands. But again, just watch for 374 and watch how it reacts around those levels. And, if you want better confirmation, it's good to look at like a 15-minute chart or even a 1-hour chart to see how the price is, on the more micro time frame reacting to such levels. If we do break down below, and if we can recapture it back, hopefully, quickly. Yeah, so that's kind of my overall perspective on Tesla stock. Now, what else I want to say? Yeah, so I was talking about how, this is the first time we arguably meaningfully closed below the 50 EMA, which is this yellow line, which obviously shows a little bit of a weakness as well. So we'll see. I mean, it's only a one-day candle. Again, it's, you don't usually want to draw too many conclusions on a one-day candle. Because one candle, of course, doesn't make a trend, right? Of course not. So, let's just see how it reacts tomorrow. But again, 374 to the downside, very important level. Watch for that. 350s is most likely next if that actually happens. And to the upside, watch for a move back up into the mid-ish 390s, and we'll see how that plays out as well. So that's probably my overall main perspective. Now, again, going over to the weekly, like I've been talking about this for so long. Like you can honestly probably go back to a video like a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, and I was saying this exact same thing, and I'm still going to say the exact same thing. I have a lot of Tesla bulls that I follow on Twitter, right? Or X, Twitter, whatever. And don't get me wrong, I have a lot of respect for them. They're phenomenal traders. They have very good conviction in their trades, which is something I sometimes lack personally. Like I feel like I'm very good at reading charts, but sometimes my conviction in actually holding the trade could be better, I will admit. But everyone was talking about this massive bullish pennant and flag, and we mentioned how that there is a possibility, and how it's going to play out soon, and Tesla's going to 500 soon, again, go back like 2 weeks, I've been talking about how maybe 460. I don't think we'll go higher than that, and we didn't even get that, right? Because again, when a stock rallies too high too fast, and then you get these kind of consolidations, yeah, they can last longer than you would expect, right? They can last longer than you would expect. I mean, that's just how these things work, right? They can absolutely, last longer than you expect. Why? Because we're cooling off. We're resetting this momentum. We're resetting the momentum back to something that's more grounded. And again, like I've said this before, a lot of times when you get too far away from the mean reversion, not always, of course, it's not perfect, but more often than not, I would argue, like, obviously exceptions like AMD, which is just tanking non-stop, and it's very far away from its mean reversion back to the upside, and has yet to seem like it wants to start doing that. But I feel like it's close. Nonetheless, the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that Tesla, it got very far away from the mean reversion, which is this white line right here in the middle of the Bollinger Bands, right? Very, very far away. Now we're slowly consolidating back into it, which is perfectly normal. Nothing wrong with that. But the point I'm trying to make is the fact that we're still not there yet. We're still not there yet. Now, it doesn't have to come back exactly to it. Like I said, I showed you examples of Disney before. Massive, massive move up. Look how far away it was. Look how far this is, right? And what did it do the next, like, what? How many weeks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks. 7 weeks, man. It's like 2 months almost, right? It just slowly went back down to the reversion. Now, again, it doesn't have to touch it to perfection. You can see there's still a small little gap here, but pretty close. Same with Square or XYZ. Now it's a little bit faster, but nonetheless, still massive move up. Look how much space there was in between. Look how much space there is between the two, right? And what did it do? It just slowly consolidated back down right into it, right into it. And what is Tesla doing, guys? What is it doing? What is it doing? Look how much space there is. And what are we doing? We're consolidating into it. Now, the difference and the reason it's taking longer is because we're not consolidating straight down as much as those stocks were. We're consolidating a little bit more to the side as opposed to more straight down, right? So that sometimes means that, yeah, it might take longer. It might take longer as this kind of plays catch up to us and we sort of kind of, meet it in the middle. But the point I'm just trying to make overall is the fact that until this happens and until we have officially, at the very least get close to it, which, we're close, but not there yet. I don't see a massive move to the upside just yet. I think this will take a longer of a consolidation, especially this is a weekly chart, don't forget. This will take a bit longer of a consolidation than people expected, mainly because Tesla ultimately, people are saying like, oh man, but it's like, it's down 22% from all-time highs. Like, that's just so? Okay, cool. So, like, it doesn't matter. Like, who cares? It could be down 30% from all-time highs, maybe all the way down 50. Like, it doesn't matter how far it is from all-time highs. Like, it's one of the most irrelevant stats people always talk about. Like, it literally just does not matter how much is down from all-time highs. Like, okay, cool. So, congratulations, it's down 22% from all-time highs. What is that? So, like, how does that matter anything? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, right? It can go lower. It can go lower. Like, who cares? It can go lower, right? So that's just, again, I'm just trying to point these things out. Again, I could be wrong. I just want to make that very clear. I could be wrong. Maybe it does just moon from here and we go to 500 next week. I don't know. But this is my trading style. This is my perspective. This is how I look at it. And this is what I believe, right? And so far it's been very correct. That, we're not going to do, anything too crazy just yet. We're still going to overall go sideways. And there's a good chance that there's still potentially a few weeks of that left. Maybe even most of February. That is still a real possibility. So keep that in mind. MACD flipping bearish on the weekly. So momentum is slowing down. Absolutely. I don't think it's going to crash. I still think, like, if we were to quote unquote crash, I think worst case scenario is like $280, $290 per share, closer to 300. I don't think that's going to happen, but that is worst case scenario in my opinion. That's worst case scenario. That would be a decent fall from here. That would of course still be like another 23%. Yeah. So anyways, that's just what I'm looking at. Now again, the thing I don't know is this, right? I don't know. Do we lose 374 and then make our way down to this kind of mean reversion, and we come down to it? Or do we hold the apex, continue trading sideways on Tesla stock for, but honestly, it could be easily another week or two, easily, in this little open space here. But, which is fine, right? Because what does that do? It gives time for this to catch up to us. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that, right? I don't know which one will play out, right? I don't know. But what I do feel like I know, at least what I'm confident in, is the fact that I still don't see us rallying to anything meaningful. I want to make that very clear. This is what I've been saying. Anything meaningful yet. I think it could happen. I absolutely think it could happen. If you zoom out, the chart does look pretty bullish still, right? It made a fresh new all-time high. It's making fresh weekly higher highs. Yeah, the chart looks good. I think the chart overall, structurally speaking, much more zoomed out, I think it looks fine. I don't see many problems at all. I really don't. But the only problem I see is the fact that too many people are expecting this to already make its move. Like, guys, the stock already went from 200 and we'll just say 215 roughly to $500 per share, and honestly not that long of a time frame, and everyone thinks after just a few weeks of consolidation it's ready to go to like 600. I don't know, man. That's weird. That's such a weird thought process to me. I can't get behind that. That's just very weird to me. But hey, we'll see. I mean, you never know with Tesla stock. So anyway, that's kind of, again, I really like to think about this because I'm really trying to nail this thing home, right? And again, you have to understand, I've been saying this for like 2 weeks, right? I really want to make this really crystal clear that this is just what I personally believe in. And let's see. But for the shorter term, time frame, for the next, potentially even this week, maybe next week, watch for 374 and watch for a move back up as long as 374 holds roughly to about mid, we'll say 390s, give or take. And that's pretty much all you need to know for now, in my opinion. Let's continue. Tesla's most likely going to continue doing this for now until one of these levels decides to break. If we break below, we go up. We go down. If we break at this one, we go to about 440 to 460. Anyways, pretty simple stuff. Not much more to say. Thank you so much for watching. Options flow very quickly. I mean, there's probably not much to talk about, honestly, but take a look at options flow very quickly. It's probably going to be pretty muted. Tesla's not doing a whole lot here. Yeah, pretty muted, nothing crazy, very mixed. Nice little call flow actually towards the end of the day coming into Friday. So yeah, nice little call flow actually. So this is good. This is good. I have to say this nice call flow towards the end of the day here to a 0207. You can see nice calls coming in. So yeah, clearly some people are expecting at least a short-term pop, right? Which is what I just mentioned. We could get a short-term pop here to about 390 something, right? That absolutely a possibility. So let's see how that plays out. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a place to do it. It's pretty much right here. But let's see. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.